Hey guys, tonster back. As you can see, I'm showing a replay of Bluescaled, and you'll see in this game what he does as a light tank. And not only him, but you're also going to see yours truly, because I am in this game in my Type 58 as a bottom tier, and he is in this game as a top tier, I think? Yeah, tier 7. So, at any rate, the reason that it will become apparent later on why I showed this replay, but it starts out kind of slow. Well, not super slow, because Bluescaled ends up setting a guy on fire, or somebody does. I guess it's not him, but he's just kind of setting up in a standard bush and trying to make sure that he can shoot heavies moving in and get some vision out, and he's doing a good job of that. And so this map, I don't know, it's really hard to push, and I feel like the enemy has the advantage on the K line down here. They can push the south much easier than, and I've told you guys that before, but he's just taking some shots of opportunity. And you can see me roaming around on the map somewhere kind of behind him, basically. But, yeah, it's a slow start, and as usual, the enemies start to win the south of the map. And that becomes an issue. And then they win the north of the map. So that becomes even more of an issue. So, but Bluescaled, I'm sorry, was nice enough to send this replay in after the game. And as I said, the start of the game for both of us isn't all that fantastic, but there's some good teamwork at the end, and Bluescaled does get an ace tanker out of this game, so keep that in mind. So you can see me down in the middle, and I'm just trying to poke out vision around, and Bluescaled is basically sniping away here. So he said, I almost hate to send it to you because I didn't do a lot at the start. And I said, well, that doesn't matter. The end of the game is kind of what matters, and it does. So T71DA decides to show up, and he is taking damage. And the tank that he's in, the SPIC, is not a very good tank. In fact, it's considered probably the weakest light at tier 7, and I guess it's not very fast, and it's huge, so it doesn't have great camo. Looks like he's got a decent crew in it because he does have full view range, but beyond that, it's not a great tank, let's face it. So anyway, things are going to pick up here pretty quick. It's 3-2 currently, so nobody's really winning, and part of the reason that I wasn't active, and probably part of the reason Bluescaled wasn't all that active, is there's 2 Arties in the game, and if you go south, you're going to just get tore up. So he's seen that we've got issues down south, right? And he's decided to move down to the south end of the map and try and help stop this push, which is an excellent idea, honestly. He's got a top tier TD, but that TD can only point one direction, right? So Bluescaled puts a nice shot in, and he's far enough away, these guys most likely are not going to spot him. So, and as they close in, he backs off a little bit, and he takes out the guy that's closest to his AT, or T25 AT, and that's actually a wise decision. So again, with the light rework, the tanks are not very accurate, the light tanks. So if you're trying to snipe with them, and they lose a lot of penetration at range, so it can be a rough deal. So it's currently 4-6, but you know how things go. They kind of tend to really snowball And at this point, it's 4-7, and things are not looking good. So we're about 5 minutes in, and like I said, not a whole lot happens that first 5 minutes. So that was a nice shot on the T-52, and now he gets into cover where he can fire, and he waits. He does not fire when his T-43 pushes. So it's back to 6-8, so you kind of think, okay, things aren't going too bad. Now it's 6-9. Now it's 7-10, and this is kind of where the fun starts. He sees this Leo, and I think what I'll do is I'll just play through his entire replay and then put my replay after the fact. Just because I don't. If you don't want to watch mine, that's okay, but you really should watch how Bluescaled plays this and what he does in his light tank. It really is masterful the way he does it, and he really seems to know where to go on the map and when. Like, he sees that there's 2 tanks still over here, and he realizes we've got to clear one side or the other, right? There's Tonster right there, and he's going to eat a shot from a Dicker Max. But Bluescaled does the right thing. He pushes up and he kills the guy, and then he dives back down, and suddenly it's now 9-13. And I think for a second there it was 7-2. So yeah, kind of a rough game right now. But the way that Bluescaled plays this is really impressive. So he lights up the IS-2, and he's gonna load heat, and that's probably the wise idea because of the tanks that he's facing. They're heavies with very little view range, and he's just gonna pull up and continue to get lights on the cap, because there's 3 guys in cap, and we could lose that basically very, very quickly. And he, not only that, but he pulls up enough that we can see the Leo. And the reason he does that, he wants to reset all the cappers, right? So heat into the tracks, probably not going to work too well, but he is using this bush, pulling back, pulling forward, getting lights, and allowing me to fire freely, right? And he does take a shot out in the open, which gets him lit, which is unfortunate because with two arties, it could be a bad deal. But the idea is that he realizes he's got to kill this IS-2. Fortunately, the Scrub Lord behind him kills him, so. And he gets lit, and he decides, okay, I'm going to pull back here. And that's probably a wise decision. So why this guy's still capping, I don't know. I mean, if you saw 2 of your buddies die in cap, would you continue to cap? Probably not. And the Hellcat has shown up behind. And of course, Tonster's taking arty fire, which is just great for Bluescaled, because then he doesn't take it. So 4 kills apiece. We're doing pretty well, and I've got 102 health, as you can see there, and here comes Bluescaled. He knows he can take the hit, so he goes up there and hits the guy, and of course I say affirmative. Now I know there's just the 2 arties left, right? And they are trying like everything to hit Blue. And I invite him to a platoon because I figure, why not, right? He's doing really well here. So we're kind of splitting up to try and find the artillery. We don't know where it's at. I don't know the ranges on artillery because I don't really play it. So I don't know if they would have to be close or not really. But Blue gets lit, so he just takes a snapshot and he is out of here. and I don't blame him. That was a nice shot there. So just one arty left, and that arty has fired. So between us, we have 10 kills. You know, by the end of it, we're going to have 11 kills. And if you look in the lower left, you're going to see me type something here. Because I've watched the game, and without him, we wouldn't have won. And so I just said, take it. You know, it's yours, because you should get the Pascucci's out of it. Plus, I have 100 health. You know, I could easily be killed. So it makes sense, but look at the damage he did. 3,000 damage, 1,300 assists, 6 kills, soon to be 7 kills, right? So here he goes for the last hurrah, and that is the end of the game. Well, if he reloads, it'll be the end of the game. So great job, Bluescaled, and appreciate you sending that in. We will definitely look at the after action report, and then after that, I'll put my replay up if you guys want to watch it as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a second. Okay, here we are at the after action report. Of course, Bluescaled got an ace tanker. He got a load of medals: Pascucci's, Brothers in Arms, Defender, High Caliber, and a Top Gun. 4 bonds for his 3,300 damage and 7 kills. So there's Tonster, lowly second place. That's 500 experience more than I got, and I was in second. Dang, good game. 28 shots fired, 22 hits, 19 pens, the 3,300 damage, 1,300 assist. He even made credits, and he would have made credits even without a premium account. So that looked like he was doing a personal reserve as well. So he got 4,500 experience. So I appreciate you guys watching this game. Don't forget, right after this game is my game if you want to watch it. If you don't, that's fine too. But thank you very much for sending that in, Blue. We will catch you as soon as I load up my game. Okay, just as Blue Stealth, or Blue, I keep wanting to call you Blue Stealth. Bluescaled's game wasn't so exciting at the start, and neither was mine. And I'm running around just knocking down trees. That's how useful this thing is at the start of the game. But I'm knocking down trees, and the reason I'm doing that is because if we have to back off or something, it gives us some additional cover. So, of course, we're trying to get a shot, and we completely miss, and he dies before we can do anything about it. That T-3485. And you can see Bluescaled, our buddy, is up on the hill over here. And as I've said before, this tank is not that great. This is a first class for me. I'm sure I lost a ton of credits because I fired a lot of gold. This thing only has 128 standard pen and 172 gold pen, which against an IS is really not enough. So we're just trying to see if we could feather shots, and no such luck, right? So once they push up into that dip, I don't know if you know, but if you go down in this bottom area, you can oftentimes get shots. And with that T-71 pinned behind the house, I'm confident to go there and try and get shots. So you want to stay low as you can, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to see, or you're going to get seen by the enemy. If I poke up on this ridge, it's likely that T-71 will spot me. So we're just kind of biding our time, and I realize that my gun depression is so bad that I've got to be in the water in order to do it. And look at this aim time. We bounced the side of a comet. So, okay then. And at this point, we decide we're going to go into that bush right there. And the reason is because in that bush, you can spot stuff oftentimes. And we're kind of behind the house, so I feel somewhat confident, and then I get hit by the Hellcat. So we're just going to back up behind the house and make sure that we're not lit anymore. And we lose our gunner, and I don't figure that out for a while, I guess. There we go. Gunner fixed. So again, you know, I'm bottom tier. I have no intention of pushing hard, right? But we are able to pick up a quick hit on the Cromwell and take him out and hit this T-50 as well. And I don't know, Chinese accuracy, maybe, I don't know. But this thing is awful, you guys. It is not fun to play. Although, oddly, I have over a 70% win rate in this thing, and I don't know why. I think it's just luck of the draw, to be honest with you. I might have 100 games in it, so or less. So I could just be getting lucky. That does happen from time to time, but you would think I would do better than that, or not do that well on such a bad platform. And I don't know if that hit or not, to be honest with you. We'll have to check on the after action report. But at any rate, I noticed that side of the map is falling, so I'm trying to kind of... I know that there's nothing over here, right? Because we've got a Hellcat over there. So I'm trying to set up my nest here so that we can shoot anything that comes across the tracks. Sometimes people aren't smart enough to realize don't cross the tracks. And we get ourselves a nice hit. And that Hellcat gets into cover, unfortunately. So now it's 4-7. Things aren't looking so hot. And we're just trying to feather some shots in. This is what you have to do when you're bottom tier in a tank like this that has basically no armor and horrible gun handling. Now it's 4-8, and one of our arties is suiciding, which is a crying shame. Why would you suicide when there's so much damage to be had? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's arty for you, though, you know. So now it's 7-10, and it's not looking great, but it's not looking too bad, right? Would be 8-10 if that arty hadn't drowned. And I realize that they're pushing in towards Cap, so I want to get away from Cap, right? That's the biggest thing for me. And I noticed this Cromwell, and I decide that I'm gonna take him out, except I go across too far. And I'm not paying good enough attention to my map. And, yeah, we're going to pay for that. So now I've got 100 health. And there's our buddy Bluescaled. And he takes out the enemy, thankfully. Not much to say, we're just relocating, and we are loading our first gold round. So there is a lot of gold spam here, and the reason is because these tanks I can't pen without gold. The Leo, sure, but the, well, maybe. I mean, you'll see, I guess. The accuracy is not very good on this thing, and neither is the aim time. So we'll go ahead and get a nice shot on the Tiger. And we're changing targets because I don't know if the enemy is... we've got 10 seconds here. And I'm not sure if the enemy is going to keep capping. And so We are able to track the IS, but that is about it. So we're just trying to reduce cap points at this point. And we're able to finally get one into the IS-6. And, yeah. This is just a shooting gallery. So if you have a good light tank, this kind of stuff can happen. Now, how that T-43 knows that that Hellcat is coming, I don't know. But he says the Hellcat's coming. We're just taking a blind shot or two. And immediately, as soon as the Hellcat comes up, we move. Now, I don't have sixth sense on this, but, I mean, pretty darn obvious that that Hellcat is has lit me. And so I'm loading back in standard rounds for the Hellcat, and I'm just kind of hoping my SPIC helps me out here, because I do not have enough health to deal with the Hellcat. I mean, I'm a one-shot for him for sure. So we were able to increase our damage substantially there. I don't know what we started with there, but that's, you know, 1,600 damage that we know of and 500 assists. So pretty happy with that game already. And at this point, I think that the M44 gets lit. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward it a little bit. So the last thing I want to do is like push in, right? Because and we missed our first shot too, and we had HE loaded, so we were able to hit him for like 269. So, and that's basically the end of my replay. The rest is just, I'll just speed this up real quick, but this is just the SPIC going in, Bluescaled, and getting his kill. So I do get close enough to him, just because if he somehow got one-shotted, I wanted to be able to get in there and finish off the arty. But fantastic game, Bluescaled, and thank you for all the help. I mean, that was just awesome. It was a shooting gallery for me, and that's what you need in this tank in order to be effective, to be honest with you. Let's take a quick look at my after-action report. Okay, here's my after-action report. I got a first class out of that. I got a level Schleio's medal for killing 2 tanks that are a tier higher at least. Brothers in Arms, of course, we rigged, and Confederate, and 2 bonds. So, yeah, second on the team, as you guys already saw. And I did do a little bit of blind damage, because I did 2,100 damage, and we lost 29,000 credits. 37 shots, 23 hits, 13 pens. So that tells you right there. And I used a ton of gold there, too. So, just a rough way to go in this thing. And we ended up with a personal reserve, so we had 2,000 experience. So, appreciate you guys watching. Thanks again, Bluescaled, for sending that in to me. I really appreciate it, and we will catch you all next time. Tonster out.